All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for tuning into my political channel, Save America, Vote for Tulsi Gabbard. We're getting closer to 1,000. We're getting closer. We need all your help. I'm talking about subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you want notifications, I do have folks that are coming on over and saying some nice things about me and the channel. Just let you know, I'm a work in progress, much like the channel. So if I say stuff that you don't agree with, try to be nice to each other and to me. It's our world is pretty screwed up, and I am a person who comes from maybe a bit of a different perspective than your typical progressives, but I do empathize with much of what is going on in the progressive movement, even though I wouldn't consider myself a progressive. However, you know, I can be convinced if the arguments are good, but it doesn't mean I'm going to abandon all of my center-right perspectives on certain issues. I just think we need some real, serious, wrecking ball style political change in the country. I want to talk about where I think Tulsi Gabbard truly is as far as, I don't know, there are two establishment candidates and there are two progressive candidates. And then there are some folks that are kind of, could be either or, people like Elizabeth Warren and Andrew Yang, who's a very interesting candidate, very dark horse type candidate, who has a lot of ideas, a lot of interesting ideas. But I honestly think that Tulsi Gabbard has the strongest anti-war message. I think within the traditional, really old-school ranks of the Democratic Party, I think the folks that came from, say, the Vietnam era and even before that have got to be looking sincerely at her campaign. I buy into this CNN thing that they did a few weeks back where they talked about, you know, searching for candidates online, trying to find out what they stand for and so forth, and they had a leaderboard, and Tulsi was fourth, and I honestly believe that's where she is in all of this. I don't know if the top three have changed, but my top four would be probably Beto, Biden, Bernie Sanders, and Tulsi Gabbard, although I would put Bernie Sanders on top, actually. So it would go Bernie, Beto, Biden, and then Tulsi. That's how I would do it. I'm not saying that because, you know, I'm a Tulsi fan. I think her message, when heard, is a stronger message, and it resonates with the people that hear it. You know, you've heard that old expression, you know, support might be a mile wide and an inch deep or whatever. I think Tulsi's is a very deep support. It's not a mile wide yet, but it could easily become that. Obviously, we're working against a media that doesn't want this message. They didn't want it when Ron Paul did it. They didn't want it. They made fun of Ron Paul. They called him a kook. They called him every name in the book. Tulsi is a little harder to make fun of. And I know this is esoteric, but she doesn't look like Ron Paul. And she's younger. Her voice isn't all high, squeaky, and annoying like Ron Paul's voice was. Whiny, some people called it. I didn't mind, but I mean, you could tell people were like, man, that guy, he's just getting all whiny, and can you imagine listening to him in the White House? And I could. I mean, it's fine. We got a guy now who can barely get through a sentence, so, and we've had that before. So, with Tulsi, though, you get real confidence and somebody who you can just see the wheels kind of turning when she gets a question, which, and she's not hesitating, she's not stuttering, she's putting out real information. But Bernie Sanders, let's talk Bernie for a second. If the media doesn't recognize Bernie Sanders this time around, then, I mean, after what they just did with the Russia-Trump collusion thing, if they don't talk about Bernie Sanders, if they bury him, I mean, he's heading toward like 1 million, not subscriptions, I was going to say subscribers. He's probably got more than that. But he's heading toward like 1 million donations, I think, or $1 million worth of donations. I don't know how you just ignore that. Whether you like Bernie or not, and I'm not a huge Bernie fan, but I recognize that the country wants a big shakeup. They thought they were getting it with Trump, and I'm starting to hear even from Trump people that are kind of secretly messaging me, and they're saying, you know, I hate to tell you, Dave, but you're kind of right. I mean, I'm not happy. I'm not happy with what's going on in Venezuela. I wasn't happy about Syria. And to be really objective, the John Bolton, Mike Pompeo, Mike Pence alliance it's too much neocon. And someone messaged me and said, hey, he was always this way. That's not what he campaigned on. Okay, and a lot of people believed his campaign rhetoric because he said it over and over again. Much like the wall, I know, for those of you who wanted that, you know, and Mexico is going to pay for it and so forth. I know. That's why it's like, it's done. It's over for me. And I'm looking. So the media, if they're talking about Bernie Sanders, they better be saying that he's number one in all of these polls, because he's got to be. He's got to be. Grassroots support, not the corporate support. I know Beto raked in a ton of money. Beto, by the way, will take all kinds of contributions. He's going to be packed out. I'm sure Beto is going to be the king of the packs. And he's also going to be king of donations from like big oil and big whoever. You know, big pharma might even be giving to Beto. We don't know. He's just another puppet. He's another corporate puppet. Same with Biden. And I think Joe Biden needs to just go off into the sunset. He was vice president. He should just, you know, live a happy life. The fact that he's coming back is very similar to the Hillary Clinton thing. Just won't go away. You know, it's time for someone else. And that's why I think Tulsi is perfect. She's positioned perfectly for this. When you look at Beto and Biden, this is where the corporate media is going to go. They're going to pump these people up. I mean, Beto's launch was just surrounded by all of these glitzy magazine covers and so forth. I mean, there are other candidates out there that are obviously going to make some waves. Kamala Harris, who again, I'm not sure what she really stands for. She's got some catchy music in her promos and stuff, little funky rhythms going on. It's just okay. And Elizabeth Warren, who I don't think Elizabeth Warren is going to be president. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I think her credibility with the whole university telling them that she's Native American, and Trump has played that, and then she does the testing, and that didn't go so well. I think a lot of voters, especially independent voters, are going to remember that stuff. And they want somebody who's going to level with them, not drink a beer to try to look hip. Hey, you want to have a beer? You know, and the husband is like, no beer. It just didn't work. It's forced. And we've seen forced. We had forced. That was Hillary Clinton. She was forced. Tulsi is authentic. I keep going back to Tulsi because I talk about all these people, and then I think of her and I go, man, is she so much better. She just is. Bernie, like I said, Bernie is a pretty good candidate, but I think Tulsi is a better candidate. I think Bernie, unfortunately, is a little too old to be president at this stage, and I think, you know, especially if he was to serve 2 terms, I mean, maybe he'd, and this is the argument, you know, Bernie and Tulsi. Bernie serves a term, Tulsi runs for president. You know, if Bernie does that, if Tulsi doesn't get the nomination, and if Bernie did do that, I would vote for Bernie Sanders. Because I would think that Bernie would just do 1 term. He'd be into his 80s at that point, and I think Tulsi could piggyback off of that. Hopefully the country would be successful as far as what the people want at that point, and we would be out of all of these endless wars, or at least some of them. I just worry Bernie's going to have trouble against the military-industrial complex. You know, some people say he kind of backs down, and he should have stood up to his own party, and I agree with that. I really do. And I think Tulsi has a little bit more fire in the belly. So we shall see. I do believe Tulsi is getting a lot more interest than the media, even the so-called progressive media, is leading on. Or people that, I should say people who call themselves like progressives or Democrats in that side of the media. I just think they want to talk about everybody else. They just switch the subject. Tulsi, you know, she was already, you know, smacked down over on that TYT channel, which I don't get it. You know, I thought those people were like the bastions of that type of political stuff. And who do they want? I think everyone's going to surround Beto. I just think that's what's going to happen. And then they're all going to eat the Beto sandwich. You know what I mean? It's going to be like the shite sandwich. They're just going to, okay, he's better than Trump. You'll see. I don't think he's going to be better than Trump if he gets elected. And he's going to get elected for the wrong reasons. He's going to continue the endless wars. The corporatists are going to love him. Be very careful of that guy. That guy's a charlatan, if you ask me. All right, so I'm done with this. Don't forget to subscribe. It's helpful. I want to do a couple of videos each day, and we're going to keep plugging at this and hopefully get more folks donating to Tulsi's campaign. Right to the nomination, folks. That's where we're going. We're going right there. All right, see you soon.